Hello everyone, very good evening. I am Anshu Budhia and I am your trainer for your FA course. I hope I'm audible clearly. Good evening, Gunjan. Hi, very good evening, Kritika. Very good evening, Pratiksha. And I feel that my class is fully energetic to learn the concepts, right? And sail through this FA sessions. Good evening, Tansa, Pratika, Shiv, Sankalp, Apurva. I really believe that many of you have studied with me, maybe for the MA as well. So I can see some names which I find familiar. Good evening, Pavleen. Yeah, I could make out Tamsa. Good evening, Pavan. Okay. So we are going to be starting with our FA sessions to tell you all about myself, those who are unfamiliar with me. So I am a trainer for these ACCA courses and I've been teaching ACCA for the last 8 years now. So I'm teaching FA for almost the same time. Good evening, Priyanshi. Good evening, Saurabh. Webber, a very good evening, and everybody else. Okay, a few instructions to give before we proceed with our sessions. Number one instruction, you guys are all going to be on the mute mode with videos off. Whenever there is a need to unmute you, I would be giving you that permission. Okay? So for all the other reasons and the other, situations and basically other scenarios in our class, you're just going to see me and hear me. So normal routine is I'm going to be visible, I'm going to be audible. You would be audible only when there is a need. And how to communicate with me? So the mode of communication is through your chat box. Through your chat box, you can put up all the queries, questions, everything to me. Okay? So I would be answering to that, whatever queries, questions you may be having. Another very, very important instruction, guys, if possible, where till the point it is possible, do not miss your live sessions. I've seen with some students, they feel, once we have crossed 10 classes, 15 classes, and they feel, we can hear the recordings as well. Always your recordings access is available with you. But I personally feel that the more you attend the live sessions, it gives you more confidence and more comfort with your queries, with your understanding of concepts live in the class. So it's as far as possible, unless it is really urgent that you cannot attend the session, try not to miss any sessions. I am there for your any queries and any questions that you have. So I really make sure that I am, whatever concept I'm teaching, each and every student in the class is thorough with that. If you have any queries, any questions that makes you feel that, look, I'm not thorough with this concept, you can ask me any number of times. Okay? And I would really make sure that everybody in the class is completely in line with the concepts that are going in the session. We will be doing a lot of questions practice also. You would be having homeworks also, which you are expected to do regularly because we have 3 classes a week. So classes are going to move faster. Okay. That means every alternate day you should be doing your homework. You should be revising your concepts after your class either today or tomorrow so that before you actually sit for the class on the next day, that is like today is Monday. So we'll have a next session on Wednesday. So before Wednesday, you should be very clear with the concepts that we have done in the previous session. So that if you have any queries, any doubts, I would take it up. Okay? Before I take into your concept, that take into your subject also, we will not start the chapter before I take you to the tour of the subject. Let's have a look at what is FA about, what is the knowledge that you're required to have, are not required to have. Okay, and what is the exam pattern? What is your syllabus? Let's make ourselves familiar with it. Let's make ourselves familiar with the ACCA website before I take up the first chapter. Okay, any particular questions that you guys have, please put it in the chat box. And I want all students to be energetic, to be actively involved in the class. Okay? I don't want anybody to just put the system on and not attentively listening to the session. You all have to be attentively there for the class for these 2 hours. Another thing, we start the class on time. So punctuality is something that you guys have to follow. Okay? Quickly put up any queries, anything that you have, anything that you want me in particular to take up. Now I'll take it up. Yes, Saurabh. The class timings are 5 to 7 p.m. Sometimes we do extend the session a bit if there is a need, because if we are completing a topic, but normally we will have 5 to 7 p.m. Anything anybody has? Okay, then let's have a tour to your subject. Okay, let's have a look at your subject. Let's have a look at ACCA global site as well. All should be attentively looking at my screen. Okay. Yes, Anshu. The classes are only in the online mode. Online mode as in, yes, you have online live sessions and the recorded sessions would be available to you in the LMS. Okay, accesses would be given to you by the team. Okay, let's have a look at the syllabus, people, everybody. So the subject that we're doing is financial accounting. Okay, that means the term financial accounting only tells you that we are going to be dealing in numbers. We are going to be dealing with the P&L accounts, with the balance sheets in detail, okay, relating to the different IFRSs. So we would be, what is the expectation by ACCA for this exam? That you would need to demonstrate technical proficiency in the use of double entries, including the preparation of basic financial statements for the incorporated and unincorporated entities, and also we will be preparing a consolidated financial statement also. Okay, so the basic requirement is that you should be able to prepare, but with the double entries you should be able to prepare a trial balance, P&L accounts, that is called as a statement of P&L accounts, and the statement of financial position. Okay, this is a simple preparation that we need to do for one entity, and as well as the same thing we would need to do for consolidated entities as well. Okay, simple doesn't mean it's your 11th and 12th. Simple means that from the IFRS point of view, you should know that how inventories are reported, for example, how your depreciation is reported, how your evaluations are reported, all these stuff. We need to study one by one. We will study these technical concepts in detail. And then with the use of these concepts, we will prepare the financial statements for single entities, and then we will prepare it for consolidation questions also we will do for more than one entity. Okay. So this is basically your purpose or your motive of your FA syllabus. This is what we are going to look at. Okay, let's quickly look at the syllabus areas. What are the basic group in which your syllabus is divided into? Before I speak further, just tell me, am I audible properly? Can you all hear me properly? Okay, fine. If you face any issues in the audibility or the video clarity, just put up in the chat box. Okay, guys, so let's have a quick look at what is the syllabus broad headings. Number one, the purpose of financial reporting. The qualitative characteristics of financial information. So these areas are more for the theory background of the subject. The use of double entry systems. Now from this heading onwards, we would be doing more of practicals. Recording transactions in the events, that is preparing those entries and recording them in the ledgers and then preparing them in the form of the trial balance, P&L accounts, balance sheets, all these. Then, as I said, preparing a trial balance, preparing basic financial statements, preparing simple consolidated financial statements, and then interpreting them. That what these financial statements, they tell us how do they help in the decision making by the various stakeholders. So all your entire syllabus is divided into these categories. Now, when you progress further in the skills level, and you study a subject called FR, Financial Reporting, which is paper number 7. It is an extension of your FA. So what you study in FA, it is little bit more detailed explained, more complex situations are explained in your F7. You would be preparing the financial statements over there also for single entities, as well as you will be preparing the consolidated financial statements also. But then what is the difference? FA gives you base. So you need to be very, very clear with your concepts at FA so that you can apply them really well for your FR. Got it? Okay, you can see the importance of the subject. Okay, going further, just a step ahead, I will show you one more thing. Yeah, just I'll give you a linkage of it quickly, okay? So from FA, that is in the foundation level, you have FA or F3, we call it. Then when you progress to your skills, just look here. Just give me a moment. I'll stop share. I'll just open one Excel file. Yeah. So as I was saying, I'll just give you a quick linkage. So you have FA, that is financial accounting. Okay, this is in your foundations level. Now from foundation level, FA, you progress to financial reporting. That is F7 in your skills level. And then this progress further. Okay, this progress further as strategic business reporting. That is called as SBR in your professional level. So you can just see the importance of this, that this is a base for your skills level and your professional level papers as well. And when you actually start working as ACCA, whether you are into the corporates or you're into your own practice, you have to get the basic financial reporting knowledge. So if your core is not clear, if your concepts are not clear over here, you would find problems here and here as well. And also when you become ACCA, you will find problems in dealing with your practical situations. So FA is considered as one of the very, very important subject of your foundations level. So I'm just trying to say that you need to be taking this paper seriously and not very lightly when you're going ahead with your exams. Okay. So the purpose is not just to clear FA exam, but have the concepts clear so that your FR becomes easier to clear, and then SBR becomes even more easier to clear and makes you achieve a very high marks. Okay. Okay, now furthermore, let me give you an idea about your exam. So your exam, guys, is completely computer based. There is no manual system of writing it on pen and paper. No, it is completely CBE, or we call it computer based exam. Okay, now CBEs are basically, they are available for your foundations in accountancy exam. Okay, now these are exams on demand. So your F1 or F2 or F3 or F4, they are available as exams on demand. This recording would be available to you, Saurabh. There is no issue, then there is no need to write so much. Okay, and as it is also, when we progress further in our chapters, whatever we will do in the class, I'm going to be writing notes in the class for that. And some notes I give you readily, or some notes I write in the class. And the questions, everything what we do, I would be sharing it with you all. Okay, so what my point of view is that you should be devoting more time in looking at the screen and understanding it rather than writing. Okay. Now, so again, guys, please pay attention. These are completely computer-based exam. Now, when I say computer-based exam, your next question can be, ma'am, from where can we give this exam? So there are two options for you. Number one, you can give it at the centers. Okay, the team will help you in selecting your center depending upon the place that you want to select. You know, the state and the city. So you can select the center and just see the availability of the seats. If it is available, you can book your exam and then you can go and give it at the center. Or you have an option to give the exam remotely from your place also, any place that you are. Just that you need a very good internet working condition to be there so that it doesn't stop in between. Got it? Now, another thing, one of the questions can be that, ma'am, can we book the exam even 1 week prior to, like, I want to book my exam for the next week. Can I do it? Yes. For your foundation exams, these are exam on demand. That means you don't have to wait for a particular date, that after 2 months you will have an exam date, nothing like this. One of your friends can give the exam after 2 days, one can give after 1 week, one can give after 1 month. There is no issue. Just that availability should be there at the center, or remote exam date should be available. Yes. Now, Gunjan has asked me one question, ma'am. When we give the exam remotely, do we turn on the camera? Your audio and your cameras would be turned on. There will be an invigilator who would be looking at you. Okay, he would be completely supervising the exam. So you would be under his eyes and lenses. And one very, very important thing that, guys, let me complete, Gunjan, okay? So I would just again put up the things here. That would be more clear. So your exams are computer-based exams. Okay, computer-based exams that we call as CBE. I would be sharing these Excel after the class is over. We'll be sharing it in the group, WhatsApp group. Okay, so please understand, your CBE exams for these foundation level, we call that they are on demand. On demand means You can book the exam as depending upon your preparation. If you are done with the preparation today, you can book it for after 2-3 days also, depending upon the availability is there or not. So you don't have to wait for 3 months, 6 months for the exam to be booked. For all the foundation level exams, they are on demand. Okay. Now, there are two ways in which you can appear for the exam. One is remote based. One is remote based exam. And another is center based exam. Remote based exam means that you are sitting at home. Okay, you can give the exam or you can appear for the exam sitting at home also. Okay, center based exam, you will have to book the center. Okay, that the VGLD team will help you to book. Will guide you that how you can book it. And also in your My ACCA portal, you can find the details of booking the exam. Just click on book the exam, then it will give you the guidelines which you can follow. Okay, so book the center to appear for the exam. Okay, another difference. Now, one thing very, very, very important, no Excel files oblique your computer screen can be used to solve questions. What does this mean? All right, no Excel files. A lot of students, they ask me about Excel. So particularly, I wanted to highlight Excel. What does this mean? That look, in the class, since everybody is there, I would be using Excel to solve questions. Okay, but when you guys are preparing or when you are doing questions, I want you to use calculator only, because you would not have any Excel files to do the calculation in the exam. No Excel file will be there. I would show you the question paper also, how it would look like. And exactly the same way it will look like to you on the screen. Okay, so both at center or remote, you cannot use any Excel file. Okay, now in the remote based exam also, you should use wait. You should use the calculator allowed by ACCA. Okay, which calculators are allowed in your FA exam? You can use a normal standard calculator, right? The normal standard calculators that you have, you can use it. I will just show you one normal standard calculator. You don't need any scientific calculator for your FA exam. Like this, the normal calculators, they are allowed. Okay, yeah, so calculator is allowed. Like this, you can use a normal calculator. Scientific calculators are also allowed, but the ones that are allowed, that should not have any, any option to store the data. The memory option is allowed, but other than that, storing of data and then displaying it, which has got higher storing skills, that are not allowed. So if we can, once they're in the group, I can discuss the calculator series also of the scientific calculators that are allowed. I can share those series. But these normal calculators, they are allowed. There is no problem for that. You can carry them with you. Okay, in the exam. Even in remote based exam, you can carry it with you. Now next, very, very important for remote based exam, you cannot use physical paper for rough work. So on what would you do rough work then? The question comes. You would do rough work on, you will use online scratch pad. I will show you that, okay? Online scratch pad that's available on exam screen. Okay, I would show you that. But in case of the center-based exam, you would be allowed 2 physical papers. That will be given to you at the center only. So you can use 2 physical papers, okay, which will be given to you at center. Given at the center, or you can use, your on-screen scratch pad also. You can use that also. Okay, this is a very, very major difference. Now, so what I'm trying to say is, all those who would be aiming to appear for remote-based exam, make sure that you practice at least 1 or 2 papers with online scratchpad, because you should be having a habit. Otherwise, your online scratchpad, if you use suddenly in your exam, you may have a problem wherein you may find difficulty with your speed, because online scratchpad is, you're not very used to of typing on the online scratchpad, right? Make sure that you're removing you're deleting your online scratchpad contents before you are submitting your exam. This is very, very important to note, okay? Because your online scratchpad instruction by ACCA is that it should be removed and deleted before you submit the exam. Okay, though it doesn't affect, because no marks would be given on the rough work that you have done on the scratchpad. It is just like a rough paper, online rough paper. Okay, so I hope you have the clarity. Now I would be discussing your paper pattern also, but in this case, if anybody has any queries, please put up in the chat box. Guys, any queries in this exam pattern, exam way that you would be appearing, then please put up. Now I would be discussing your paper pattern. Clear? So now you know your strategy, and make sure people that you are using the same calculator in the class for practice that you are going to carry for your exam. Nobody is going to use mobile phone calculator. Trust me, if you use mobile phone calculator in the class and then suddenly wake up and you use your calculator in the exam, you will have difficulty in running your figures through the calculators and you may come up with wrong values. Also, using of mobile calculators completely not allowed in the class. Not at all. Okay, make sure that you're using your calculators. If you do not have, buy them by the next class. I allow you today's class, but then by the next class, you should be buying that calculator. Okay, make sure you're buying the same calculator that you will carry with you in the exam. And only one calculator would be allowed. Some centers do allow 2 calculators as well, but there is no need of complicating things. So please carry one calculator only. Okay. Okay, now let's have a look at the exam pattern. Okay, just a few other things relating to CBE. Let's have a look. How does the CBE works? Questions are displayed on the monitor. Is my voice low? Is it not audible properly? Okay, Anshu, then I would say, can you please increase the volume at your end? Maybe some issues at your end. Okay, thank you guys. Okay guys, so how do CBEs work? Questions will be displayed on your monitor screen. Candidates will enter the answer directly onto the computer. Like I said, no other way to enter. Directly on the screen you're entering. It is just like you're answering your questions on the question paper only. You don't have a separate answer sheet to answer. You will have 2 hours to complete the examination. Thank you, Harsh. Okay, and the best part, once you are done with your exam, you will have your provisional result appearing that time only. 99% cases, your provisional and your final results are always same. Okay, but maybe 1% chance your result can be a little different, but otherwise your provisional result is your final result. So you will have an idea that once you submit your exam after 2 hours, how was your exam? Okay. I'll come to that question, Harsha. Okay, and this is your exam pattern. So your exam pattern is your section A. So let's have an exam format. You will have your exams in 2 sections, section A, section B. Okay, section A will have 35 questions. Section B will have just not a problem. I would take all your questions. Okay, let me just complete it. I'll take all your questions. Section A has 35 questions. Section B has basically 2 multitask questions. There are no fixed questions in this. Sometimes we have 2 parts, sometimes we have 3 parts to the question. 2 multitask questions. Each question is of, this is number of questions, and this is marks per question. Okay, marks per question is 2 marks. I need you all to listen to me first and I would take up your queries. Multitask question, each are for 15 marks. So what is the total marks or the maximum marks? So maximum marks of section A are 35 into 2, 70 marks. And for section B are 15 into 2, 30 marks. Total when you add, your exam paper is for 100 marks. Okay, now few questions that everybody is asking. Let's quickly, let me quickly revert to it. First point, first question, ma'am, does ACCA have negative marking? No, ACCA at any level doesn't have any negative marking. Number 2, question that you have asked me is, ma'am, is there any part marking allowed? That if part of the question is correct, part is wrong, are we allowed part marking? No. No, in the sense, section A will give you either 0 marks or 2 marks. If you're correct for the full question, you will get 2 marks. If you're not correct, you will get 0. If you're half correct or half not correct, no answers. How would the examiner know it? Because you're not allowed to give any workings. You're just allowed to type in the final answer. That's all. Okay, so step marking will only come in when you are presenting a working, my dear friends. There is no working presented. You're required to just select the final answer or type in the final answer. Section B is more comparatively more better to score, because section B has, suppose there is one question for 15 marks, it will have lot of parts. So even if one part is wrong, second part is correct, you will get marks for the same. Okay. So in that case, I can say yes, indirectly it is a step marking question, even though you're not showing any calculations. You're just selecting the final answer or typing the final value. Okay. Is this clear? I'm going to show you one exam paper also, so that you're clear with kind of that, how your exam paper will look like. Any queries till this point? Shriyanshu, I think I've taken your query now. And Zia took your query as well. Saurabh and Harsh, your query I'll take now in some time. Okay, you need 50% to clear your exam. Okay, but for my class, you all generally, averagely, all my class students, they always score around 70%. Minimum 70% around, they always score. So I have raised the bar. For me, my students' passing marks is 70%. Okay, now I'm taking up few queries that are raised by Harshvardhan. Yeah. Okay. Ayush has asked me one question, ma'am, that wrongly I typed in a wrong answer. Now, can I correct it? Yes. It's like any exam. Before you submit the exam, you can do hundreds of corrections, no problems. Once you submit the exam, once the time is over, then whatever your answer was selected, that is the final answer. Okay. Let me show you the exam paper also, that will give you more clarity. Now, some of you are asking me, ma'am, is ACCA hard? Tell me which level is easy. Do you find your 11th, 12th was much easier to do? When you were in 11th and 12th, some of you may be currently also, when you were in your 10th, you always found those levels difficult, right? So the levels that we have not appeared for, it looks difficult to you. But let me tell you, ACCA is not that very difficult that you can think. Okay, it's very practical based, and I've seen students clearing it. In 3 years' time, they become ACCA. So it's like with dedication, with your zeal, with your determination, you can definitely crack ACCA in all papers in one go. Just that you have to be clear with your concepts and be attentive in the classes. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, another thing, Harsh has asked me one more point that, ma'am, I'm doing BCom. So should I do ACCA? Should I start with ACCA after BCom or with BCom? Let me tell you, Harsh, people start doing foundation levels even when they have not cleared their 12th. Okay, so yes, you should join the sessions now only. You should not wait for your BCom to get over. You are in the 4th semester, still have more semesters to go. Okay, make sure that by the time you're completing a BCom, you are already in your skills level, or maybe halfway you've cleared the skills level. Right? So by the time that you are done with your BCom and you're maybe 1 year after to it, you will become ACCA. So have that point of view and just join it ASAP. Don't delay it further. So I guess I've taken all your queries, guys. Any other queries, any issues that you have? We are having online sessions, Harsh. Yeah, Saurabh, doesn't matter. Even if you're a non-commerce background, let me give you one point here. There is no brought forward knowledge required for this exam. Yes, there is some point of knowledge that you need to carry as the basics. I would guide you for that from where you can get that basics. So just get those basics. Okay, rest corrections we will do in the class. Okay, Saurabh? Any other queries, guys, that you are having? Yeah, Harsh, tell me. Harsh, I think for that, for everything relating to that, please contact the team. They would guide you. I'm a trainer, so I would be taking your questions relating to the subject. Fine? Yeah, Shivraj, how much time do working professionals require daily? What should be the duration to take the exam? It depends upon you, but 1 to 2 hours a day is sufficient for FA. Completely sufficient. Okay? So you can, minimum, you should be devoting 1 hour. Maximum, if you're devoting 2 hours, that's okay on a daily basis. That is, there has to be regularity to be followed. And we would be going ahead, but you would be continue to do that till your sessions are there. After that, you need little more hours to revise your syllabus. Anyone, see, this is for working professional, for a BBA, for a BCom, for BCA, anybody who's into it. See, if your basics are not very clear, just devote little more time, more than the 1 hour, 2 hours, so that you get in the basics of accounting. Okay, I would give you references from where you can read those basics so that you make your basics more stronger. Okay, and these lectures are applicable for your all forthcoming attempts that you plan after 2 months. Average duration, generally the classes would go on for around 2 months because it's 3 days a week. Okay, and then after that you can appear for the exam. Not a problem, not a problem. Even though, like I said, I have students who gave this exam when they were studying in the school. So you can just imagine that how early they joined the ACCA. So there is no age limit. A working professional, a BCom student, an undergraduate, a postgraduate, the person who's in school, anybody can join this course. The best flexibility that this course offers. Yes, more than sufficient, Saurabh. More than sufficient. I know you need to have your basics clear. You need to brush up them. So yes, this is on a regularity basis. These hours are completely okay. Okay. Any other queries, guys? Any other queries or questions that you're having? Okay. So let's proceed further. Let me quickly show you the chapters that we are going to cover. All details are there in the group. Okay, Anshu, you will get that. Those details in the group, as well as if you're not a part of the group till now, you can get it from the team. Okay, so the chapters that we are going to be covering are 25 chapters. We would be covering across the topics like introduction to accounting, your characteristics of financial information, book entries, trial balances, then these technical topics in detail, inventory, tangible non-current assets, like accruals, provisions, sales tax, your bank reconciliations. That's different from what we do in Ind AS. In our Indian accounting standards, what we do, this is different because here we follow IFRS. Corrections of errors, preparations of accounts for single trader, for companies, and then consolidating them. And then finally discussing and interpreting the financial statements, just chapter number 26. Okay, I would give you these guidance. You can parallelly take up with FA, you can take MA as well, or F1 also. Both are okay. Okay, FA and MA, more better combination. But you can go for F1 also. That is BT also. There is no problem. Okay. All these are in demand based. Yeah, I would be showing you the question paper also. See, I'm going step by step. So I would be showing you that. Okay, guys. Now let's proceed. First, I will show you your ACCA global website. Okay, I don't know how many of you have gone through this site, how many of you have been on this site, how many of you are aware of this site. So please see, this is ACCA Global. This is the site. This is ACCA Global. For your exams, for anything, you need to come to this site. This is your My ACCA portal. When you get registered with ACCA, you will get your login ID and password with which you will log into this, and all the exam bookings, your results, performance, everything would be here on your My ACCA portal. Let's go into the detail of your syllabus. You go to students, study support resources. ACCA qualification. Okay, and then you select your subject, financial accounting. Once you're in the financial accounting, you have different guidelines given by ACCA. Okay. Introduction to financial accounting, a bit about the subject like we have discussed. This is examining team guidance, very, very important. Let me just show you. Okay, like this is examiner's report for this exams that took place in this 1 year. Okay, this examiner's report is a guideline for the students to see that what are the examiner's comments or their opinion about the different question that the students went for. Like here, they take randomly 6 questions from section A, one question from section B, some extracts. Look here, like here the question, there is one question in front of you and the correct answer is given, and then the examiner's comment is given that generally how the students appeared for it, where they went wrong averagely, where was the thought process wrong. So this gives you an idea about the examiner's viewpoint when you go through it. Okay, so it's ideal. Basically, it's advisable that you should be going through an examiner's report, at least 2 to 3 examiner's report before you appear for the exam. I would let you know, Pavleen. Can you just connect with me on the WhatsApp for the same? Okay. Okay, guys. So this is the examiner report that anybody who's aiming for the exam should go through at least 2 examiners report before you appear for the exam, because that would help you in clearing out your errors that you may be doing while you're preparing for the exam. Okay, another thing, like when you go here, we have this syllabus given here, the standards that are tested in the exam. That is not very much important for you to go through this, because we cover the standards in the book as well. Okay, this is the language support option if you want to avail it. Okay, basically if you think that you are not very good in the English language or that is maths, when you're doing your calculations, the support will help you to improvise the same. Now I'm just showing you a model exam paper that will give you an idea that how your exam would look like when you're going to appear for the same. Before that, there are some technical articles. It's a library of articles that are put up by ACCA. The different topics that we are going to cover in our classes, some topics are covered here. So you can go through these topics as well, because they are put up by the examining team and the other fellow ACCAs. These articles are put up by them. Okay, so this relevant for which exam also, it is put up here. Right, so you can just go through the same. When it says relevant from September 2023, why it is saying that? Because the current book that we are following is valid till 31st August 23. After August 23, there is a little change in the syllabus. Though I would be covering the change also once we reach that point. Okay. Yeah, and again, they have exam technique, that how to prepare for an on-demand computer-based exam, and your FA exam structure that we have already covered in the class. Let's quickly have a look at the specimen exam. Okay, this is a passing percentage, okay, that is given to you by ACCA for the different months that they have put up, that what is the average percentage over the last 6 months. I would teach you, right now we would be following the book till 31st August 23. I have September 23 onwards book also. So I would be covering wherever it is needed, I would be taking the changes also. Okay. So for this entire year, that would be valid. Okay, guys, let's have a look at the exam pattern. Like this, you will have your screen in front of you when you would be appearing for the exam on the computer screen. That would give you that it is FA exam, 2 hours, and passing marks is 50%. Can you see there is a circle button? This circle button tells me that I have to select only one option. The timer is in front of you. You will not be required. There will be no clock on this computer screen. The timer only would be in the front of you. Here you have this marking because this is a specimen exam. In the main exam, this marks would not be there. Then if I've selected it here wrong, this indication would not come on the exam screen. Okay. Just for the specimen exam, this is there. Now, I'll go to the next button. Now here also there's a same round button. I will select one option. I may be wrong, I may be right, but like this. Now here you have three statements. You have to select which combination is correct. Again a round button. I will select it like this. I will show you. Wait. Now here there is an answer question which is requiring me to type a value. No working, I would be able to reflect whatever is the answer. I would just type in the value. Can you see dollar is also written here? I just have to type in the value. There is no need to write decimal places unless question requires it. If the question requires you to write your answers in decimals, it would write it here. Okay. If it is not written, then you would round off your answer. Now, suppose I'm not very clear with this question and I want to come back to it because I'm not very clear with the answer that I've written. I can flag it. What will be the help of this flag thing? When I look into my progress details, it would show me that you have completed 3 questions. 4th question also you have selected one answer, but you're not sure, so you have flagged it. Okay. Now, when I want to return back to it, suppose I have changed the answer. Now I want to keep this as the final answer. I will remove the flag. Why? What will happen if you don't remove the flag? Guys, if you don't remove the flag, the answer would be considered as not, the question will be considered as not attempted. A flagged question is not marked. It is assumed as if the candidate has not attempted that question unless you remove the flag. Because the computer-based exam it is, so there is no manual intervention in the checking. The computers, with the help of AI only, they check the exam. They check the exam performance of the student. Okay, now here I can use help. Okay, now there are square boxes option. No, like I said, Gunjan, this would not be there in your actual exams. This is just there in your specimen exams. In your actual exams, the 0 of 2 marks will not be there. Okay. Now here, can you see the square boxes? This means this question wants me to answer more than one option. The question here wants you to give 2 answers. So if I select both of them correct, only then I will get the 2 out of 2. If suppose I've selected one correct and one wrong, then I will not get 2 out of 2. Can you see this? Only if I select 2 answers, both of them correct, only then I will get 2. I will not get 1 marks here. Either you will get 2 or you will get 0. Got it? Now, like this, you'll move further and you'll find the questions that are appeared. True, false. Now you can see here there are 4 situations for true and false. Only when you get all 4 correct, you will get 2 marks. Even if one is wrong, you will not get any marks. You will get 0 marks only. Now, if I want to go to section B, I will just select this section B, 36th question. Just look at how this question is coming. There is a background given to you and then there are questions given to you here. Each question is separately marked. So even if I've got this correct and this wrong, doesn't matter. I will still be marked for the steps for all the parts that I've answered correctly. Even if some parts are answered wrongly, doesn't matter. Okay. So this question is divided into 2 tasks and each task has got step marks. Like here, this task is for 4 marks. There are 8 steps. So each step is for half marks. Like here, this part is for 11 marks. Okay, no internal subgrouping is given to you. That is only based on the computer. Okay. But what I'm trying to say is here, even if you get some parts correct, some parts wrong, you'll still get that step marking. You don't need to get all the parts correct to get the full marks of this question. Okay, so it's not like here, like in section A, that either you will have 15 marks or 0. In section B, we don't have things like that, that either 15 marks or 0. You will get step marks for all the parts that you have correctly answered. Okay, like this. Now here, this is second question of section B. Again, a background is given. Then few tasks are given to you. Task 1, task 2, and task 3. Like I said, there can be multiple tasks and the tasks are not fixed. Here we have 5 tasks given. Each task is marked separately and there are separate boxes carrying separate marks. So step B is basically has got some step marking. Step A, the section A doesn't have any step marking. Okay, now this is a specimen exam, so you will not find scratch pad available here. Scratch pad would be available on the mock papers, in the case of mock papers. However, you can use, scratch pad is available in case of mock papers. I will show you. Mocks are chargeable here on the site. The mock tests are chargeable. If you want, you can buy these. Now, this is a practice test overview video. This would help you in, for your practice test that you are going to appear for. Just a moment. I will share this now.
Tests to support you in your studies. They are available to purchase online and can be used for any of our exams. They are a great revision aid that should be used once you've studied the full syllabus. As well as giving you an insight into a live exam experience, they also provide feedback on your performance. You can take them at a time to suit you, and the inbuilt timer allows you to mimic live exam conditions. When you finish the test, you will be presented with a personalized diagram showing how you have performed across the different areas of the syllabus. You can use this diagram to identify your strengths and weaknesses and refine your revision plan before you take an exam. Practice makes perfect, and these tests are a great way to apply your knowledge and identify areas that need further development.
In the class also, guys, we would be covering 2 mocks. Okay, so I would be covering 2 mocks in the class. Not here on these mocks, we have our question bank. So from that, I would be taking 2 mocks. I would be evaluating it and presenting it to, and giving you all personal feedback on the areas that were stronger and that were weaker. Okay, just allow me a moment. And then I'll just take it further. Okay, just 1 minute I need. Okay, anybody has any queries? So, how you're finding the paper now? Let me tell you, foundation levels are very, very scoring subjects. You can score them really well. You don't need to devote like many hours onto it. Just give regular practice, be sincere, be regular, be dedicated towards your exam preparation. And by the time we complete with the syllabus, I'm sure you would be done with your syllabus as well. So we'll have mocks I'll give you personalized feedback on the same, where you're going correct, which areas are stronger, which areas you need to do more practice. So you can improvise yourself even after we complete with your syllabus. By the time we finish with our classes, normally students, they appear for the exam within 10 to 15 days. Okay, and then they are clearing it with very, very good and high marks. Yes, section B and section A, everything is scoring, because sort of section A also, see the level that you have in your ACCA, this foundation level exams is not very difficult. Not very difficult as in it's a moderate level. So just give proper practice and proper dedication, and you should be able to score very well in your exams. So people, can we move on to the first chapter of the syllabus? Anybody else has any queries, put up in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move to the first chapter of your syllabus. Okay, so there's one question that is asked, and ma'am, are there any particular areas that would be judged in section A and section B? No, my dear. Entire syllabus is open for section A and B. But in section B, it's generally the cash flow statements or the financial statements standalone, the consolidated ones, they are put up for test. Even interpretation. So all these bigger areas are put up to text in section B. But there is nothing called as important in your ACCA, and there is nothing which is particularly mentioned that only these areas will be tested for section A or section B. Entire syllabus is open to be tested. Okay, one thing Gunjan is asking me, ma'am, which areas are different when we compare it with Indian accounting standards? That would be difficult for me to tell you, because we are following complete IFRS for these your ACCA. Now, guys, I really wanted you all to understand. See, I teach skills also. So I always tell my students that please do not go into the comparison mode, that I'm going to compare my Indian scenarios with the UK scenarios. Not at all. This would just make you very confused and very, you would, every chapter you would just keep on tracking the same. Why do you need to track it? When you're studying FA sessions here, just keep your mind open for whatever I teach, and just tell your mind that Indian system is not followed here. Okay, so instead of pinpointing where it is different, see, normal accounting principles are not different. Normal accounting principles are same. But when we go into the detail of things, then some entries, some ways that it is presented, they become little different. The presentation also. Okay? Gunjan, I hope this resolves your query. So please keep your mind open when you're studying IFRS. Any other queries, any other points, guys? And please, when you log in the next time for your next session, please log in with your name. Don't put names as in, the Redmi or other names. Please write your names. It helps me to communicate with all of you in a better way. So I hope I'm clear. Zia, Yasir, and all of you there in the class. Okay, then let's proceed with our first chapter. Yeah, I'm just sharing the screen. Okay, and those guys who are not familiar with the books, so we are following BPP books here at VGLD. Okay, so these books you can buy, the physical books as well as the e-book access can be bought from by contacting with the team. They would guide you how to buy these books. Okay, and I've seen students who prefer PDFs, but I don't recommend it. The reason being, PDFs don't have lot of other options that ebooks has. Like for example, I will just give you a walkthrough to the same. This is your ebook. It has got chapters detail wise. Okay, then we have essential reading. This essential reading is an additional clarifying feature given by BPP. Okay, and in which you will have your some additional questions, some additional conceptual clarity over and above what is given in the chapters. Yes, you can. If you are aiming for September 2023 onwards your exam, you can definitely order that book. Okay, definitely you can order that book, because most probably when I would be taking more inputs from September 2023 only. Okay. Yes, you can order it. Again, another thing, now we have got a question bank also here in your ebooks only. That's not there in your PDFs. So you have an additional question bank apart from your exam kit. You have your further questions practice as well as their solutions. This is not there in your PDFs. Now, this is your exam kit. Okay, again, you have ebooks, so it's better to practice from ebook. The reason being, you will have the habit of reading the question online and answering it. Because in your CBA exams, you have to read the question online only. Okay. Now, this is your chapter-wise, your questions are given to you. Some chapters are merged, but most of all, you will find chapter-wise answers in the questions. Then we have 3 marks also given in the BPP kit. Okay. So we would be following BPP in the class. Let me start with the first chapter, people. First chapter is your introduction to the accounting. Accounting is basically when you are dealing into the numbers, when you're dealing into entries, we are dealing into entering the transaction in the books. Okay, this is the world of accounting. Okay, broadly, the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter relating to financial statements, an understanding, a brief understanding of statement of P&L, statement of financial position, and the different types of business entities, the various users of the financial statements, and corporate governance that we are going to cover in this chapter. Okay, first topic that I'm going to cover is the scope of financial reporting, that what we are going to be covering in this. Like I said, like we have already talked about, what is financial reporting? Financial reporting is recording the transactions that are entered into by the company into the books of accounts. Okay, not just recording them, preparing them in a form so that it is readable, understandable by the users, and interpretations can be drawn on them. Like for example, a business is entered into a transaction where it has sold 100 units of stock. If I just come plainly say that, today we sold 100 units of stock, tomorrow or yesterday we sold 80 units of stock, day before yesterday we sold 40 units of stock. If I give you information in this way, would it be of any help? If I give you information in the form of the journal entries, would it be of any help? You would say, no, ma'am. Ideally, you should put it in the ledger, create the trial balance, and then the P&L accounts and balance sheets, so that we can have an idea that how the company is performing and what is happening with the company. Correct? So just entering into a transaction doesn't suffice any purpose. For the people like the government who's monitoring the taxes of the company, for the employees of the company, for the different shareholders of the company, for the directors of the company, for the creditors, for the debtors, for the lenders, for all these people who are interested into the company, they're not interested into the list of transactions. It doesn't make sense. They're interested when you make those lists, convert them into entries, convert them into ledgers, create trial balance, and then P&L and balance sheet that gives them an idea that what is going on in the company. This is what we cover in financial reporting. Financial, we are more dealing with the financial terms, where you're dealing with all those things that can be expressed in terms of money. Now, for example, my manager is a very honest person. Can I show it in the balance sheet and P&L? No. So we cannot cover it in the financial accounting. In a financial accounting, we cover those transactions that can be expressed in terms of money and so can be entered into in the P&L or the balance sheet. Okay. Let's have a quick look. Okay. Now, Shiv has asked me a question, ma'am. Can I say that financial reporting is accounting? Now, Shiv, my question to you, what is accounting? Accounting is when you're preparing them into financial statements. Accounting is over. But don't we report any any misworking in the company? Don't we do analysis of those financial statements? Don't we analyze them and then produce various kind of reports based on those financial statements? Accounting helped me to know the figures of sales for the year. But if I want to see a trend of sales over the years, I need to prepare reports. So that is not a part of financial accounting. That is a part of financial reporting. So reporting is a step ahead of financial accounting. Financial accounting is a part of financial reporting. Is this clear till this point? Anybody has got any queries in the class? Guys, are you clear till this point or not? Yeah. So I'm saying a shift that good. So what I'm saying is shift financial reporting includes financial accounting plus analysis, reporting, decision making. All this also is a part of financial reporting. Clear? Okay, now let's understand the second term. Sometimes students or, the people, they get confused and then they ask me, ma'am, what is management accounting and how is it different from financial accounting? Because both are accounting only. So then why these different terms, financial and management? Let's take one example. Okay, now suppose last year company sales were 1 lakh. This year company sale is 80,000. Financial accounting will help me create this. That sales for the last year was 1 lakh. Sales for the current year is 80,000. Correct? But now management would like to see and would like to go in detail that why this sales got reduced in the current year. What happened? Did we increase our cost? Then why did the sales go down? So they would go in the detail of this topic sales and they would check the costing of the goods done. They would check the profit margins. They would check the demand of the customers and other points. Financial accounting did not cover these detailed understanding. Management accounting goes in the detail. That is, from the management point of view, the areas that need detailed study, that is covered in management accounting. Costing is a part of management accounting because, of course, management, like I said, would go in the detail and would find what was the cost of the product this year and what was the cost of the product last year. If there is an increase in cost, why did the cost increase? Which cost increase? So they would go in detail of this topic. Because for their internal purposes, they need to know why did the business go down? Why did the sales go down? What happened? What was the reason behind it? Got it? So guys, are you clear with these three terms? Financial reporting, financial accounting, management accounting, without ratifying anything. Because in my sessions, in the classes, nobody is going to learn things. We all are going to understand. Any queries? Shiv, are you clear now? Prem, are you getting the clarity? Priyanshi, Sankal, Soumya, all of you? Okay, where are you confused? Shiv, tell me. Okay, I'll show you with a table. We are dealing in recording of transactions, recording of normal transactions. Once the recording is done, okay, once we record the transactions by way of journal entries, then we put them, summarize them in ledgers. Okay, then we create trial balance based on the ledgers. Then we create profit and loss account. Balance sheet. And cash flow statement. The process of doing all this comes under financial accounting. Okay, when I say financial accounting, I mean that we are doing all these steps. Perfect. Perfect. Saurabh, I would use the definition that you have used. Okay. Okay. So Shiv, I think you have covered till here. I've just covered the basic. Now, when I say financial reporting, in addition to what we have covered in financial accounting, reporting includes analyzing, reporting, okay, reporting, using the help of data, using the help of statements and transactions recorded in the books. Now, does it give you clarity, Shiv? That in addition to what we are preparing here, we are not going into the deeper analysis. But we're not taking any particular ledgers. We're using this data only and we're analyzing them so that the business can take decisions in the future. Now, when I say management accounting is more like internal accounting. As stakeholders, maybe I will not be aware. See, if Reliance Industries is having their we don't do management accounting by the name of it. Management will not say today I want to do management accounting. It is an understanding that we have created that when a management goes in detail of particular areas, that is basically they're analyzing it from the point of view of their internal decisions, right? As a shareholder, I would not come to know what Reliance is looking into, which costing areas it is making changes into. I would not know. I would only know with the decisions when they take that when they decide that we change a supplier X and we make a supplier Y. Why? Because supplier Y is giving the same material at a lower cost with the same quality. So the purpose is to reduce the cost then. Have you heard Byju's, Meta, Facebook, all these, Twitter, all these were firing people. Why? Do they love to fire? Google? No. Because internally they took a decision that look, business is the revenues are not going very great, so we need to reduce cost. Okay, and who took this decision? Management. So this is covered in management accounting. Okay. So management accounting is basically your internal, for internal purposes, for internal decision purposes. Okay, or planning purposes, internal decision or planning. I'm putting it very, very simple terms here. Okay, I would use the book language also. For internal decision or planning purposes, management goes into detail analysis, working, costing, all these areas that is not touched in financial accounting. We don't look into the costing of a product in financial accounting. These costing into the areas like it is a direct cost, indirect cost, which cost is more, which cost is less, which method of costing to be taken. All this is covered in management accounting. Okay, so detailed analysis, working, costing, etc. are for the products to ensure the future profitability or decision making of the entity is enhanced. Okay. Yeah, budgets are a very good example. So budgets, they come as a part of management accounting. Perfect. For example, budgets. Now, does it give you clarity to everybody in the class now, or is there still anyone who is not clear? I'll explain it again. No, not a problem, not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. So now let's read the book language for management accounting. Always we will not be reading the book. Okay, I would be making you understand the concept, only then whatever is relevant, I would be reading that portion in the book. Otherwise, you would be reading it when you cover your concepts, because I would be covering everything. But I'll make sure that you're not mugging up. You are understanding the concepts. Okay, so what is management or cost accounting? Now, I believe why you know it is written here cost accounting, because cost accounting is actually a part of management accounting, a major part. Management accounting or cost accounting is a management information system which analyzes data to provide information as a basis for managerial action. The concern of management accountant is to present accounting information in the form most helpful to the management for their internal decision making. So I hope now you know the difference between management accounting and financial accounting more. Clear? Let's go further and let's understand some financial statements rule. Guys, what is a P&L statement? Can anybody tell me in the chat box? I don't want any book language. Just give me a basic understanding. What is a P&L account? What does a profit and loss account tell us? I'm waiting for you all to type it in the chat box quickly. Very good. You gave me the statement Dhruva. No, not Dhruva. Sankalp. Perfect. Gunjan, perfect. But I'll just, Gunjan, one term is wrong. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Pratiksha says it shows the net profit or loss over a given period. Very good, Pratiksha. No, not gross profit or loss only. Whether we are in profit or loss, it's a very layman answer. Calculations of all net profit or losses in there, various expenses incurred, income received, recording of income generated and expenses incurred. So more or less, you all gave me the same answer. But some of you highlighted a point which was not correct. Some of you highlighted a correct point. Profit and loss, by the name only, it tells us that it is a statement. Okay, it is a statement, okay, that we prepare for a period. Now that period can be a year, can be a month, can be a period of 15 days, can be for 6 months, can be for 9 months, depending upon. So it is not necessary. It's okay, Saurabh. Yeah, it is not necessary for us to prepare the P&L statement for a year only. It can be prepared for less than that also. Okay, so instead of using a fiscal year, financial year, calendar year, I will use the term period, or I will use the term year, accounting year. I will not use any other name. Okay, so it will be prepared for an accounting year. An accounting year for me may be calendar year. For Saurabh, it may be a financial year. For Gunjan, it may be a fiscal year. So for all the different and the traders, we can follow different years. Doesn't matter. But my accounting year would be the year that I'm following. So I would calculate profit and loss account for my accounting year. Similarly, you would calculate profit and loss for your accounting year. Got it? Now, so what does this statement reflect? The statement reflects the net profit earned or the net losses incurred over the period, that is the accounting period for the entity. An accounting period can be for 12 months, can be less than that, can be more than that. So it doesn't matter that whether it's less than that or more than that. Whatever is the accounting period, we will do calculations for that accounting period only. Okay, please make sure that you're clear with this basic point. Okay, so what is statement of P&L? It just basically shows whether the business has had more revenue than the expenditure or it had less revenue than the expenditure. We will not show present P&L account in the T form that you may have studied in your BCom, in your 11th, 12th. In the IFRS, it is not allowed. We will present it in the vertical format with the schedules as it is there in that list. Okay, so let me give you a quick look at how your P&L account will look like. Just a simple example. Okay, so just this is what generally you follow in your horizontal format. Right? This is generally what you do or what you may have studied. That is, we prepare a trading and P&L account. Then we calculate gross profit from that. We make it on the credit side, and then we calculate the net profit. You must be very, very familiar with this. But what we are going to follow here in IFRS is this. I'm going to present the same answer. Net profit will also be the same. You can just see here. Here net profit is 30. Here also profit for the year is 30. Values will not change, only the presentation is different. How is the presentation here? You will start with sales. You will reduce cost of sales. What is cost of sales? Cost of sales is opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses less closing stock. That is change in inventory plus purchases plus direct expenses. This is your cost of sales. So from sales, you will reduce cost of sales to get gross profit. Again, it is basically covering your trading account only. You can just see here. In trading account, we add opening stock, we add purchases, we add direct expenses, we reduce closing stock to get the cost. Right? Same formula we have applied here. Just that not in the T form, we are presenting in the vertical form. Same. So your gross profit is 50 here, your gross profit will be 50. Okay, this is called as vertical format. Then from gross profit, we will reduce any expenses. Expenses heading we give like distribution expenses, administrative expenses, general expenses. Like this, we will reduce different expenses. We will add other income, and then we will get profit for the year. We don't call it net profit. We call it profit for the year. Are you clear with the format of P&L account here? We will be doing questions and all. Don't worry for that. Right now, we're just discussing the format. Okay, looks simpler. I find this to be more simpler. Right? There is no confusion. What will come on the left side, what will come on the right side. Okay, let's go further. Let me give you a brief look at your balance sheet also. In our Indian accounts, we call it balance sheet. In IFRS, the name is Statement of Financial Position. It's more fancy name. Okay, balance sheet is prepared on a particular date. P&L account is for the period. So we will write here Statement of Financial Position as at 31st March or maybe as at 31st December, whatever is the period that we are following. See, after the class, Saurabh, you can go through the recordings, you can write the notes. There is no problem. If you what the personal notes are all welcome, you should prepare personal notes. Okay, so please prepare them, but after the end of the class. Because in this time, otherwise, then you will miss on the concepts that I'm discussing in the class. Got it? The recording would be given to you. This Excel sheet would be with you. Okay, now guys, please see, normally how we prepare a balance sheet, we again prepare it in a T format. Okay, though in Indian accounts also, we have now vertical format only that is allowed, horizontal is not allowed. But for the sole traders, for the partnership, horizontal is still allowed. T format is still allowed. But in IFRS, whether we are a sole trader or a company or a partnership, anyone, it has to follow compulsory the vertical format only. Okay, now how do we have this T format? You have your liabilities on the left side, assets on the right side. Like fixed assets less depreciation, we get net fixed assets, we add investments, current assets. On the liability side, we have capital account, we add profits, we reduce drawings to get the closing capital. Then we add long-term liabilities, current liabilities, and we get the summary of the balance sheet. Same information now we will put in the vertical format. Few terms will be different. We will start with assets. And first heading would be non-current assets. Instead of using the term fixed assets, we will use the term non-current assets. Non-current assets, we will make a list of the assets, okay, after depreciation, and we will write it here. Then we will add non-current investments. Okay, what is current, what is non-current, I will explain you. Non-current investments, and then we add a list of current assets. We get the total of the assets. Then we go to the liability side. The heading is equity and liabilities. There we will write the capital details like we wrote here, capital details, and then we will add non-current liabilities and current liabilities. Okay, we don't have a concept called secured loan, unsecured loan and all. So that is why I said at the beginning, don't mix your Indian calculations with your IFRS calculations over here. Do not mix it. Please keep your brain open for these kind of things. Okay, now another thing. What is current and what is non-current? I use the term here. Current means all those assets and liabilities. No. What is opposite to company financial statements? No, it is the same way. In our Indian accounting standards also, we follow the same vertical format for a company's financial statements, same. Just that sole traders and partnerships, they follow the T format. Yeah. So now what are non-current assets? They are fixed assets. So what would be the definition? All the assets that are going to be converted into money, okay? We expect them to be converted into money in the coming 1 year from the balance sheet date. They are current assets, and the assets which will not be converted into money, which will not be sold, which will not be converted into money within 1 year from the balance sheet date will be non-current assets. Okay. Of course, I am going to take in detail. And yes, Shivraj, I know you come from a non-accounting background. So that is why I said before the next session, you can just WhatsApp me as a part of the group. I would give you few links that you should follow. Okay, so that the basic terminologies will not be difficult for you to understand. Okay, you can go through those. Okay, so now let's quickly go to the definition. Here we can call it sales, or we also call another term in IFRS, that is revenue. So what is sales? What is revenue? Let's quickly go into the definition of the same. Revenue is the income generated by the operations of a business for a period. This means what? This means that suppose I'm dealing in furniture making business. Then what is my revenue? Revenue would be your sales from furniture business. But if suppose I've invested some money in FDs also, fixed deposits, and I'm earning interest on the same, then will interest be also counted as revenue? No. Interest would be counted as other income. Right? So revenue is always the income earned from your core operations. Okay, that is the purpose for which this company is formed or the entity is created. So what is the core purpose of it? That is covered for the definition of revenue. Expenses are all the costs that are incurred for the running of the business for the same period. Now, what is income? Income is increase in the assets or decrease in the liabilities that results in increase in the profits for the company. So income is basically the profits that is earned by the company. Okay, and that basically creates an inflow for the company. So income means money is going to come in the company. Expenses means money is going to go out of the company. So expenses basically then they result in decrease in assets like depreciation. Depreciation is an expense that really decreases the assets. Okay, I would take your point again. Okay, so expenses are what? That decrease the assets like depreciation, or they increase the liability. How do they increase the liability? Like in the income tax expense that we have to create, the income tax to be paid, or the salary to be paid. It increases the liability, right? So expenses always increase your liability or decrease your assets. Income can be revenue, income can be any income that the company earns. So income is a broader term. GST return, what is the role of GST here, Saurabh? In IFRS, we don't have any GST. So I'm not going to take any GST. In IFRS, in taxes, then we will be covering a chapter sales tax. We will be covering VAT over there. Okay? Let's not mix things. I am talking about income tax liabilities, your VAT liabilities. Liabilities always increase your liabilities, right? It is a commitment that you have to take in the future. You have to pay an amount in the future. Amount will go out. So it is going to increase your liability. But yes, when we read this topic further, you would understand that taxes are not expenses. Taxes just simply result in outflow of money. Okay, I am not going to discuss VAT, GST. GST definitely not, because we're not doing Indian rules. VAT also not. Let's not cover Shivraj, because let you be first clear with the basics, right? Let's not complicate things. Be clear with the basics. Trust me, with every topic that will come in, I will explain everything in detail. Let's go step by step. Yeah, okay. Now, like I said, I gave you an example of sole trader. Right? Statement of P&L. The same example is covered here. And then we are having the profit for the year. Just look at the list. You have sales. We reduce cost of sales. Carriage inwards is a direct expense that is covering here. So we're reducing the cost of sales. We're getting gross profit. Then we get sundry income, which is other income. Discount receivable, other income. We reduce expenses and we get profit for the year. Okay, few things that you should remember while we're preparing the statement of P&L. Gross profit calculation. What is gross profit? Gross profit is sales less cost of sales. Okay, simply put. Sundry income is other income that would include incomes like bank account interest received. Because for any business, bank account interest would be their other income, except in the case that when I'm talking about banks or NBFCs. But in your exams, we would not be talking about banks. We would be talking about other traders or manufacturers. So bank interest would always be their other income only. Do not include nil value captions. So if there is any expense head which is nil, you will not include it here. You will only include in the list those items that carry value. Okay. Okay, any doubts that you have till this point? Till the P&L portion that we discussed, any doubts, any queries in any terminologies, guys, tell me, put up in the chat box. It should be absolutely crystal clear to everybody in the class. I know first chapter would always seem easy. And I'll make sure that every chapter looks as easy to you as this is looking. Okay, now statement of financial position. We are talking about balance sheet here. So the statement of financial position is simply a list of all assets owned and all liabilities owed by the company or by the business at a particular date. Like we saw in the balance sheet that we prepared, the statement of financial position that we prepared. Okay. Now, what are assets? We have already understood. So I'm just taking their terms, right? So that you are clear with them. Okay, so what is asset? Like we understood, asset is something that brings value to the company. Okay, so basically any category that the business owns or can use, and it is a resource. What do I mean by resource? Then it is going to bring funds to the company, either in the form of cash or in the form of increased output. Like for example, a company buys a new machinery. For what purpose? So that it can increase production, so that it can sell more, it can produce more. Right? So this is it is bringing economic resource to the entity. Why does a company gives loans? So that it can convert them into cash at a future date. Right? So cash is coming in. Cash is an economic resource. So cash, their increased production, in any ways, it is bringing benefits to the company. So we call it an asset. Some resources are coming in. They're not going out. When resources go out, it is a liability. Okay. So an asset is a present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past events. Basically, like you purchased a machinery in the past, so you are getting the benefits now. Okay. So it is basically bringing more economic resources to the entity. Like factories, office buildings, cash, furniture, computer equipment, delivery vans, lorries, cars, all are these assets. CCTV camera is an asset. Is it not helping the entity? Why does a company puts a CCTV camera in the office? So that it can see if any frauds are not happening, any theft is stopped, any loss which may be occurring, like because of theft, which of any burglary, that is stopped. So it is an asset because it is bringing more economic resources. Suppose by installing CCTV cameras, there is no theft that is happening. There is no stock which is getting misplaced. Company is able to save that, right? So it is an economic resource for the entity. Am I clear, Saurabh? Great. Okay, now the assets which can be held for a period of more than 1 year, they are non-current assets. And an asset which is held for, which generally is expected to be converted into cash within a period of 1 year, that is called as current assets, right? Current and non-current assets. But of course, every company looks for converting the assets quickly into cash so that it has all the liquidity with it for it to help running the business, because every company needs cash also to run the business. So we need assets to be converted into cash more quickly. Okay, any queries till this point? Please tell me in the chat box. Okay, guys, great. So let's go to the liabilities. Liabilities is what? When the company has to pay somebody else, like the creditors. It purchased goods. It purchased raw material from creditor A, but now it is not free of cost, right? It has to pay creditor A money. Money is going to go out. Economic resources will flow out. What is this? Liability. So I will list them as liability, right? For example, the company has issued shares. Now the company has a liability to pay them the shares, to give them the shares. And shareholders will become the owner of the company. So that is why coming on the liability side from the company's point of view. Okay, now the company has to pay income tax. It's a liability. It will come on the liability side if it is not paid during the year. Similarly, the company, suppose if there is any salary outstanding of the employee, then this is a liability because the employee has already served the period. The company has to pay the employee the amount. So it's a liability. So what is liability? Liability is a present obligation that the company has to bond because of the past events. Past event was hiring that person, and the person has served for the full year. Now the company is obliged to pay to that person, right? That is called as a liability. So like few examples, liabilities can be the goods bought on credit, like we discussed, amount owed to the bank, that is loan taken from the bank, you have to repay them, a bank overdraft, okay, any amount owed to the tax authorities. So all these would come here. Okay, the liabilities that can be converted quickly into cash, that is, you have to pay them more quickly than the other liabilities. We call it current liabilities. That is, the liabilities that are to be paid, that we expect them to be paid within 1 year, are current liabilities. And the liabilities that would not be paid within 1 year are non-current liabilities. So we present non-current and current separately on the statement of financial position. Okay, there is no liabilities company, Saurabh. Kingfisher is not a liabilities company. There is no assets company. Got it? Every company has assets and liabilities. Kingfisher is a company that was declared bankrupt, so it owed a lot of amount to the banks, and also its assets were not sufficient when they were sold off. They were not sufficient to cover for the bank loan. Therefore, Kingfisher Airlines, was in such debacle, and Vijay Mallya was on a run by the tax authorities. Am I clear? So let's use the correct terms now. Saurabh, are you clear with this? Okay, now let's have 2 questions, and that will be all for the day today. I won't be taking more portions. Let you be first comfortable to the topics till this point. Then we will complete this chapter and we'll start a new chapter on Wednesday. Please don't leave the session before it. Activity 2, quickly give me the answer. Let's see who all can give me correctly. Can you please tell me your name, system H623? See, it looks so funny if I call by this name. Try to rename with your correct name, okay? Preksha. Guys, give me the correct answer. Come on, everybody, I want you to give me the answer. Sankal, Shazia, Tamsa, Weber, Valyamai, the one who's enrolled with Redmi, Yasir. Come on, guys, answer. Prem, Pratiksha, Pavan, Pavleen, Ojashma, Kritika, Khushi, Ishika, Harshita, Dhruva, Ayush, Anchal, everybody. Perfect, guys. You all are super intelligent. Very good. Correct answer. Answer is B. This is an asset. Very good, because bank overdraft, payable, and amount owed are all liabilities. Perfect. Activity 3, correct answer. Come on, quickly give me the answer, people. Absolutely stunning. Very good. All of you are correct so far. Just give me the answer. A, B, C, D. I don't want more. Just give me the option. A, B, C, D. Very good. So far, all of you are correct. Very good. Perfect. Increase your speed. Very good. All of you are correct. Super. It is D. Because inventory, receivables, and plant and machinery are all economic resources generating assets. So they are assets. Only D, loan, is a liability. Very good. Shows that you have understood the concept. So all of you, let's meet on Wednesday. Before that, I want you to go through whatever we have covered so far. I would be sharing the Excel file in the group. Okay, by late evening, or maybe right now only I will share it. Okay, and all of you, those who are not there in the WhatsApp group, please get in touch with the team. You will be a part of the group. Okay. Okay, thank you guys so much. I hope that you were able to understand today's session. See you all on Wednesday. For any queries, any doubts, I'm there. You can ask me those queries on Wednesday. Not a problem. John and time. See you all for the second session of our FA. Bye-bye. Good night. Take care. Thank you.